Someone is completely hyperventilating over you right now because the illusion of control they were hiding behind has shattered into a million pieces. They genuinely believe that your distance was a temporary game, that your patience was infinite, and that they could leave you sitting on standby while they coddled their own pride. But the exact second they went to test your energy and hit a definitive, like digital wall, the brutal reality of your total absence hit their chest like a physical blow. Their breathing went shallow, their heart started racing, and they are sitting in the cold shock of realizing that you actually blocked them for good. They thought they could quietly monitor you from a distance, but you have left them with an absolute blackout. Now, a massive psychological gap has opened up in their world, and the lack of information is driving them into a mental corner where they are forced to confront the hidden realities of what exactly, how exactly they have, how badly they have fumbled you. Because, see, yes, hyperventilating over you. See, this person is experiencing a genuine physical and emotional panic attack over the boundary you just drew. Okay? They are placing the floor, staring at their phone, and reading old conversations because the reality of your silence is finally sinking into their nervous system. They used to think they were the master manipulator of this connection, completely unbothered and capable of keeping you waiting forever. Now the tables are completely turned on them. The sudden realization that they no longer have free access to your energy field is causing their chest to tighten. Their mind is spiraling out of control because your presence was their ultimate safe net and now it's gone. A new mystery gap. Okay, so the absolute silence like you are maintaining has created a massive psychological vacuum in their life that they don't know how to fill. Okay, see, because you aren't posting, you aren't reacting, and you aren't throwing subliminal shade, they are like left entirely in the dark what you are doing or who you are with. This total lack of information is doing things to their mind that no amount of physical confrontations has ever could. They're forcing themselves to imagine the absolute worst case scenarios late at night. Like they're obsessing over the fact that this mystery gap means you might have already crossed their chapter for good. They fear you have already moved on to someone who actually knows how to treat a prize like you. And to their shock, they felt the code snap. Okay, so the exact second, like you made the internal decision to reclaim your power. Okay, literally, in this practical wall, a literal energetic shock wave hit this person's system. For the longest time, they relied on an invisible spiritual anchor between the two of you. No, they knowing that like no matter how cold they acted, your energy was still quietly tied to theirs. They treated your open door like a permanent guarantee. But the moment you choose your own self respect and cut the tie, an immediate blackout hit their intuition. Yes, intuition. They woke up in the middle of the night feeling an intense, heavy sense of sudden loss. The safety net they took for granted was completely ripped away, leaving them spiritually stranded on the other side of your boundary. Okay, now say ambitious, right? So when they sit alone in the silence and look at your life, what did they see? They see an absolute powerhouse. Yes, you are entirely focused on your goals, your lifestyle, and building an empire that does not rely on anyone else's validation. You move with a level of independence, magnetic drive, and focus that completely intimidates them. This high achieving boss energy is the exact trait that makes you utterly unforgettable to them. But it's also the source of their deepest frustrations and fears. It is breaking their brain to realize that while they were busy playing childish games, you were busy entirely like outgrowing them and leveling up your life. And they didn't felt on your level like you were a boss. They feel insecure around you. See, yes, they look at your maturity, okay? Because the root cause of their hot and cold behavior is a deep seating running insecurity because they are simply not on your level. Your elegance and the way you hold yourself, and they feel completely small in comparison to you because you carry the energy of the Queen of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles inside of you. So instead of stepping up to match your energy like a mature adult, their wounded ego choose a toxic exit strategy. They pull back acted distant, and tried to make you chase them just so they could feel powerful over you. They wanted to humble a boss, but their little plan completely backfired here. They're sitting in their own misery right now because their absence only ended up exposing how deeply insecure they truly feel, or truly are. Okay? Okay, so now I see a hopeless romantic with trust issues here. Okay, but they have a high sexual drive which is out of the roof. Okay, so underneath all the cold detachment and unbothered behavior, they try to project. This person is secretly a total hopeless romantic when it comes to you. They had like these grand, sweeping fantasies about the perfect future together, but they're heavily burdened by deep seated, unhealed trust issues from the past. Okay, so I don't know whether this energy is going to be matching with you or not, but I see that there is something that the universe wants to let you know about this person here because they were terrified of being vulnerable and losing control. Like they love those romantic feelings deep down and lose to lead with their ego instead. Okay, that's a thing that shouldn't be done with a person who has done nothing wrong. Because if you cannot suppress an energy that intense without it mutating into an absolute fixation, right? So while their mind was trying to hold back out of fear, their physical attraction and a raw sex drive for you grew completely out of the roof. They trapped themselves in a mental prison where they were completely consumed by you, yet too paralyzed to speak transparently. But to my awe and surprise, I see here that still there is this feeling inside this person. They want to win affection and approval from you. Okay. Their entire motivation has might be completely inverted from wanting to dominate the connection to a desperate, burning need to win your affection and approval back. Okay. In the past, they wanted to be the prize. They wanted to see if they could make someone like you bend to their timeline and chase after their breadcrumbs. But your absolute refusal to lower your high standards has forced them to face reality. They realize you cannot be bought with cheap talk or inconsistent behavior anymore. They're panicking because they know that a basic, low effort text message will no longer clear your boundaries or grant them access to your energy field again. Or ever. They're sitting in the realization that to ever taste your validation again, they have to completely dismantle their pride and earn your respect from the ground up. So because see, you have high standards and they're driving them completely crazy. Okay. So behind the scenes, like your complete unwillingness to accept anything less than absolute respect is driving this person completely insane. They're used to dealing with people who compromise their boundaries the moment things get difficult or distant. The fact that you drew a line in the sand and actually stood up by it has completely shattered their entire playbook. They're losing their mind trying to figure out how to approach you because they realize the bare minimum is officially dead and buried. Okay? They know they cannot face you again unless they're ready to step up completely. Your standards have become a mirror. Okay? Your standards like have showed them exactly where they are lacking and is making them crazy. But now something else is happening. What? They're wishing to bind you to their bed. So, this intense mental frustration is translating into an incredible localized, heavy physical fixation late at night. See, when the rest of the world goes quiet and they are left alone with their thoughts, they're constantly wishing and wanting nothing more than to bind you to their bed and lock you into their physical reality. They replay the memory of your touch, the scent of your skin, and the raw chemistry that you are to share, or maybe going to share or thinking of, imagining of, to share in the future. They use these memories as a temporary escape from the cold reality of the block you put on them. But because you have effectively cut the cord, those thoughts are no longer a comforting fantasy for them. Rather, they have turned into absolute mental torment because they know they can't actually reach out and touch you. That's why what they're doing, they're imagining you in less and lingering. See, their subconscious mind is running a non-stop explicit loop of your most intimate potential. Yes, like when they close their eyes, they're constantly imagining you, fixating on your beauty, and visualizing you dressed in lace and lingeries. The physical pull is so heavy here that it feels like an addiction they have absolutely no power to break. They completely consume the memory of how perfect your physical compatibility was or compatibility is going to be. The realization that they can no longer experience that closeness is making their current reality like feel completely cold and empty. Okay? Every single private thought they have right now is reminding them of exactly how much sacred access they had officially like had to you and how they officially lost all of it just in one go. But I also see something dangerous here, like a kind of dangerous love growing inside. So they're forced to admit here something to themselves that what started as a casual attraction has evolved into something far more severe. This has turned into a dangerous love that is growing completely out of their control every single day. We call it dangerous because it threatens their entire emotional structure and forces them to feel things they aren't equipped to handle. So they are accustomed to keeping people at arm's length and remaining the most detached party in every relationship they enter. But your energy has completely bypassed their defenses and rooted itself deep inside their heart. The more they try to fight it or tell themselves they can walk away, the heavier the obsession becomes. Okay, but I see a third party drama here. Like there is a massive cloud of third party drama here, outside opinions and superficial distractions surrounding this person's life that they allow to interfere with your connection. Whether it was friends or toxic family dynamics or other options they were entering, you're entertaining out of pure ego, that entire structure is like crashing down right now. They're realizing that all the outside noise and external validation they prioritize over you means absolutely nothing. It does not compare to the genuine connection they threw away. The superficial distraction they used to avoid committing to you have now turned into their own personal prison. They're trapped in the drama they have created while you are sitting pretty, completely unaffected on your own throne. Okay? And I am getting here a stalker alert like they're checking up on your socials so often. Okay, this intense energetic panic is translating into concrete, obsessive, and stalking behavior behind the signs right now. Behind the scenes, sorry. They're under a major stalker alert because see they are checking up on your profiles, your social media, and your life like multiple times a day. Okay, they're using fake accounts, maybe virtual friends, or any loophole they can find just to see if your energy has shifted. They might be trying to follow or look through your account through their friend's phone. Okay, if you have any mutual friends, they are like digging to them to know about your whereabouts. Yes, everything has shifted. All energy that you ever wanted to get shifted through you is like now penetrating through them. They want to know actually if you look happy, if you are out with friends, or if you are talking about someone else. The total lack of real access is driving them to obsessively hunt for any tiny breadcrumb of your life. They're looking at the locked door, completely shocked that you actually had the strength to keep it closed. And they're totally shaken up to the core. They're in shambles right now. See, please be obsessed with me the way I am with you. Okay, so behind their quite unbothered exterior, which they might be projecting in front of you, their soul is literally screaming a desperate plea towards you. They're literally begging, like, please be obsessed with me the way I am completely obsessed with you right now. They're sitting in silent agony, internally pleading for you to look at them, think of them, and care about, the way they are caring about you. They want to know that they still have the power to disturb your peace the way you have completely destroyed theirs. They want your intense focus back so badly that it hurts. But every time they check for your energy, they are met with nothing but the absolute cold mirror of their own past neglect. Okay? See? Now they're holding on to a hidden feeling. So, what is this? See, they cannot continue holding on to these hidden feelings while your life keeps moving forward at lightning speed. Like they know that an ambitious powerhouse like you does not sit around mourning a connection or waiting for someone to mature. And you are right. You are expanding, attracting new opportunities, and stepping into your absolute prime. The absolute terror keeping them awake at 3 in the morning is a realization that your silence means you're completely done. They know that if they do not find a way to step out of the shadow immediately, they will lose you permanently now. They're terrified they, by hiding their feelings for so long, they have written themselves out of your script completely. Okay? And now something unstoppable has started to brew inside of them. What they're dealing with right now is an absolute, unyielding, unstoppable desire that refuses to be suppressed by a digital wall. You can block a phone number and you can restrict a social media profile, but you cannot block a magnetic soul pool that has already been activated. So, what they're doing every single day that passes in total silence is only like magnifying the urge to break through your boundaries. Yes. The pride that kept them quiet for weeks is completely burning away now under the heat of this internal obsession that is brewing inside of them. They are reaching a critical boiling point where the fear of losing you permanently is completely overriding their fear of a bruised ego. They're begging for a chance, not from you, from the universe. They're being driven forward by a force they cannot control and is pointing directly back to you. Okay. Yes. What I'm seeing here, soldier, navy, army. Okay, so to the outside world, this person is putting on a rigid, disciplined soldier-like front, or maybe they belong from this type of profession. Maybe a soldier, maybe they are maybe in navy, or they might be in army, like military, air force. Okay, like in the navy, as you can see, maybe they are on the front lines, so maybe they're in the police or maybe related to some kind of law and order jobs. Okay, but what I can see is that they might even have a very high structured, protective, or highly disciplined professional life that they use as armor against you. But beneath that uniform of pride and emotional discipline, they're completely losing the internal battle against their own feelings. They're trying to march forward and follow their own strict rules of detachment. But every single step they take like brings them right back to the realization that they're completely defeated by their love for you. Yes. And what's interesting is that the sexual desires are getting out of control. Okay, so we have reached the ultimate peak of this entire reading because their sexual desires and emotional obsessions are getting completely out of control behind closed doors. We have talked through multiple masses before, isn't it? That what actually going on behind the closed doors? The dam is about to burst because a human being like cannot hold this much raw, unexpressed intensity because inside, like without hitting an absolute breaking point. So you can expect a sudden explosive breakthrough on this person in the upcoming days. They're actively figuring out how to bypass your block right now. Whether that means utilizing a mutual connection, creating an entirely new pathway, or physically positioning themselves in your space just to catch your eye and test the waters. Your absolute strategy is to remain entirely immovable in your boss energy. Let them stew in the heavy reality and the snap core until they learn to match your high standards with real consistency and transparent maturity. Stay grounded in your worth, focus on your growth, and let them hyperventilate. I will see you in the next reading. Till then, take care and God bless you.